It's been 6 years of podcasting, and without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to bring these podcasts to you. So I want to thank today's sponsors. And first off, we have the Pretentious Pickle Company of 190 Water Street in Plymouth. If you haven't had a chance to get down there, go down and check out what they make. They have everything pickled you can imagine, from pickled beets to carrots to mushrooms to onions to Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. They even have pickled or pickled flavor cotton candy, I should say. They make it fresh there every day, and you can go in there and check out what they have to offer. And if you're not in the Plymouth area, you can go to pretentiouspickle.com and check out what they have to offer there as well, and they will ship it out to you. Their stuff is delicious. You should check it out, and they are big fans of ours, and we are big fans of theirs. So thank you to the Pretentious Pickle Company for sponsoring today's episode. And our second sponsor today is Moonrise Cinemas. Moonrise Cinemas is a new drive-in in Plymouth, right on the Plymouth-Kingston line. They are located at 428 Court Street in Plymouth, Mass. And they offer a great selection of movies. You can go. It's very family-friendly. I went and checked out the Goonies there. They've had Marvel movies, a wide variety of stuff. And they're really starting to expand. They have had the Rocky Horror Picture Show this coming year. They're doing music on Thursday nights. On Wednesdays are going to be 420 friendly events. So make sure you check out what they have to offer, moonrisecinemas.com. It's a great venue. They have a beer garden. They have their own food. Their food's phenomenal. And they're bringing back their French toast, which I'm very excited about. So make sure you check out what they have to offer, moonrisecinemas.com. And if you use code INEBRIART when purchasing tickets, you'll get 10% off. So make sure you go to moonrisecinemas.com to get your tickets for movies, concerts, and more, and use code INEBRIART for 10% off on your purchase. And now let's jump right into the podcast.
Welcome. My name is Andy of the BarTalk Podcast Network, and we are here today recording our BarTalk podcast. And I am joined today by my good friend Karl of the New World Tavern in Plymouth, Mass. A little faster, Karl. A little faster. Then we also have our other co-host Dan Mahoney of Stats in South Boston. And our very special guest today is Chef Brian Duffy. We all know Chef. Welcome to the show, Chef.
What's up, y'all?
Okay.
That was very quiet for the introduction.
Let's talk.
I gotta leave this out in case my mother calls.
I should turn mine off as well.
All right.
There we go.
So, for those of you who don't know, the BarTalk podcast is a podcast, hospitality industry support group. We talk about all sorts of bar and restaurant issues. We take listener questions. And so the whole flight out here, we were talking about what we wanted to talk about. And I think the thing that we really found most useful is the positive of saying yes in the restaurant or any business where I'm a podcaster. But when people approach you with an idea and the saying yes to that and going with it, not just discounting out of hand. So, Chef, do you find that to be
If I'm understanding the question correctly, what you're saying is where people come to me with a concept idea.
Yes.
And how I handle that in those situations. I don't care what your concept is, as long as you believe in your own concept. It's just that simple. I'm not here to tell you that it's a wonderful idea or a bad idea. I'm here to instruct you how to take your vision to the next level. It's just that simple. What's up, brother? It's good to see you, man. Literally, that's what it is. I mean, I've had people come to me with some of the craziest ideas, and it's not my place to tell you that your idea sucks. but I'm going to try to get you to be where you have to be on a business level so that it succeeds for you the best that it can. So, and what I see where most people fail is where they take their concept and then they spend more time trying to adapt to everybody else rather than dig into their concept and make it move really hard and really fast. So
when you're advising someone, Chef, like I have a marketing background, do you try to move them to the good decision, like help them make the good decision, or just kind of back what they're doing?
I mean, I always offer my insight of what I think. Okay, so if you tell me that you want to open up a Mexican meatball shop, okay, well then make the greatest goddamn Mexican meatball that you've ever made in your life. Don't make one because somebody around the corner had one, and now you want to undercut them, or you want to do anything else. I'll tell every person that works with me that you have to believe in your concept. Don't bastardize your concept just to make other people happy. Okay, a Mexican meatball shop may not be the greatest idea in the world, but I'll work with you to get the great recipe, the greatest products. I'll train your staff to the best of the ability that we have, and then it's your responsibility to take that to the next level. If it fails, it's not my fault that it failed. It's your fault because you didn't execute the tools that I put in place that work for business. And then you go from there.
Now, what advice would you give to restaurant owners, restaurant managers? Because for all of you out there, and it's everybody that comes to your bar and restaurant says, you know what you should do?
Oh, yeah.
There's a million of them.
Honestly,
How do you, and some of them might be good ideas, most of them aren't.
I mean, I own a little spot. I have two places. I got a place in upstate New York, or in New York, called Arcadia Retro, which is an 80s themed restaurant. Okay? Super fun, great music. My partner's so into the concept that I really don't even have to get involved. I update recipes, I check pricing, I make sure all that stuff's working. He comes up with great ideas. Very rarely do I say anything to him, but what I do is like, I didn't like the picture that you posted because it looked like shit. Like you're taking a billboard to millions of people and it looks like crap. So like in that case, then we had a conversation about it. But like in my place, when I have people that come into my place, and people love to tell you what they think you should do, listen to what they have to say. If 5 people tell you that the chicken sandwich is salty, then the chicken sandwich might be a little salty. If one person says that it's salty, that person may not like salt. But if 5 tell you, then it is now becoming a conversation that really needs to happen. Look, I have QR codes in my place. Nobody likes it. They don't like it. They don't like the fact that I don't have any servers. They don't like the fact that my runner's going to run the food to you, or that I'm going to text you when your food is ready. They don't like it. But I'm not going to change it because it's my concept. My concept is 76% to go. So I'm not going to spend money on having a server in-house who makes $2.83 an hour because they're a tipped employee. What am I going to do? Pay them $8 an hour and then they get tips on top of it? Like, yes, I'd love to do that, but it doesn't benefit me in any way because I change my menu every single day. You look at the food on a QR code, I sell that food. So everybody says to me, you should really have servers. No, I shouldn't.
Chef,
Thank you so much.
Do you feel that QR code is more accepted now post-COVID where like everyone
Absolutely. Look, we need to be accommodating to 2 people right now that are coming into the restaurant. Those who understand what a QR code is and those who do not. Okay? It's just that simple. When people walk into my place, I have an older clientele in some of my neighborhood that loves to come in. We have great food. They love to sit down, order a cocktail. They don't understand the QR code as much. The phone just doesn't make the font big enough. But when you watch other people around them, they're like, oh, here, use my phone. Okay? Or I do have menus that are in there, but they're not the menu that's up to date for that day. So we then actually spend time talking to them. So we really are very accommodating to those who do not understand how to use a QR and those who are just like, this was the greatest thing ever invented, which in reality it is. It's an awesome, awesome tool that we should use more. When you want my information, anybody wants my information? There you go. That's my QR code. Scan it, you have every single bit of reachable content right there. Takes to my Instagram, every single thing that I do. I have recipes on there. It all gets right into your phone through that little tiny square. You can take it, go for it. I don't care. My phone number's not in there, so there ain't no drunk dialing.
Karl, can you get a QR code on your flip phone, or how's that?
Yeah, no, a lot of us older people, don't have the ability
Right.
to take a picture of that QR code.
Exactly.
And some of the places that you go in, they'll say, well, we don't have any menus.
Yep.
Like,
And we
well,
don't have menus.
I'm like, okay, how about make me a rum drink for God's
Well,
sakes.
and we do certain stuff, like I have an iPad in the restaurant that when you go to my menu, I don't even want you to look at my menu. When you go in, it says order here. I want you to click order here because that's the most up-to-date menu that I have. When I make my adjustments in my POS system, because I do counts every single day, so when I have burgers on the menu, I know that I have 37 burgers because it goes into my POS. So as it counts down, if you look at my menu right now, I have 11 out-of-stock items on my menu right now because I cut my menu back to 8. Yeah.
The password is 964.
You got it.
birthday.
I update my menu every day. So I don't need a paper menu. There's no reason for me to print a paper menu every day. We will work with you. If one of my cashiers can run over with an iPad, walk you through it. I have pictures of every single item because my website, my pictures sell my food. So I work with that QR code as best I can. I had 5,000 magnets made up in the size of a business card. I have 2,000 houses within 4 blocks of where my restaurant is. Every single person got a magnet when I opened the restaurant. Put it on your refrigerator. You're gonna look at that, you're gonna go, oh, I had a great meal there once. Let me scan it again. Now I can order the food. We're gonna text you when your order's ready and you can walk down the street and pick up your food. For me, I love QR codes. I think they're unbelievable.
Sorry.
Damn beards.
Damn it. So you open a new restaurant, Karl's opened a new place in Pembroke, Mass. Staffing is a huge issue where we are. What's your experience with that? Like, how are you increasing your staff back to pre-COVID numbers? Like, how are you working through that?
I would absolutely love to increase my staff back to pre-COVID numbers if you guys want it to work. I have one sous chef and a 17-year-old cook in my restaurant right now. I'm running 8 items on my menu as I've been on the road for 10 days straight. My sales have decreased by 50% over the last 10 days because I had to decrease my menu because I don't have the staff in-house to be able to handle running a full menu. We have to make changes with our staffing. We have to make changes with how we work with our employees, how we deal with our staff. This is not 2 years ago, guys.
So
Where are all the bartenders and servers? They're in real estate school.
Yep.
Do you think it's a whole change to that lifestyle of, the bar and restaurant lifestyle that's causing that?
I think it's that we've treated our employees like shit for 100 years. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let's be realistic about it. You need to work Thursday night. Well, I already have plans. I know, but Joni's not gonna be here. So I need you to come in Thursday night. Man, it's my son's birthday. Like, I can't, I'm just letting you know that I need you to be here Thursday night, so I'll see you at 4 o'clock. Schedule's going out on a Sunday afternoon for a Monday shift, going out a Sunday night for a Monday shift, paying $2.83 an hour to our employees due to a tip tax credit that we get because of that, letting them deal with the bullshit that goes on every single day within restaurants. It is not a fun job. When you think about it, it's really just not a fun job. What are we doing to increase our staffing? We need to make changes. We have to educate. Stop talking about upselling. Education creates upsell. If I spend 5 minutes with you a day about 5 items on my menu, you're able to walk to a table more educated than you ever were before with first person to sell 5 bottles of red wine gets $100. What red wine am I selling? You never taught me about red wine. I don't know anything about red wine. So we have to educate our staff. The other thing that we do, I don't open restaurants that are open 7 days a week anymore. Because I can't find staff to run a 7-day operation. I have a sous chef who comes in 6 days a week no matter what because he wants a day by himself in the restaurant. Because he has anxiety. And I have to accommodate that. I don't pay him more because he comes in, that's his choice. But I will work with him however I can to make sure that his shift runs as smooth as possible. When we run out of an item, I use Trello. If any of you have ever used it before, it's an amazing app. And he just puts a note in there, we need onions. I order onions for the next day. I don't want him to have to worry about ordering. But this way, the phone's in his hand. He can get the communication directly to me in an organized fashion so that I don't have to chase stuff around. We have to be nicer to our employees. We've got to work and be more accommodating. I try to get a schedule out 2 weeks in advance. 2 weeks in advance. I don't want my staff closing. I'm open from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock because I'm not going to do a huge business. I don't have a lot of staff to walk in the restaurant at that point anyway. So for me, I'm open 5 days a week. My guy can work 60 hours in that 5 days, and he's still super refreshed when he comes back in. I'm not trying to schedule people 10-hour, 12-hour, 14-hour shifts. I never schedule the same person to close a Friday and a Saturday. I rotate it. You close Friday, you close Saturday. Because you have a wife that he has to go home to every night.
Does your girlfriend know that?
Don't tell her. She'd be really mad.
But I'm going to disagree a little bit. I think it can be a fun place to work. I think it can be a fun job. And if you get the right employees in there with the right attitude that
absolutely
that go with your concept, and I think there's a lot of people out there that really enjoy what they do because they're people persons.
I'm not
and when you come out of that kitchen, or if you make a drink for that person, that one customer on one day who says that was really good,
yeah,
that's all it takes. Because
I agree.
That and I don't want to get into reviews because I don't.
I review reviews.
But
if you review me, I review you back. I remember you.
But everybody's brave to say, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people that like it will go on saying, I liked it.
Well, I would rather
So if you
have
get
the
that one
information-
person, I think, that comes in and compliments your staff, not you, but your
Yeah,
staff.
I don't want
Your
that.
staff wants to be there. They're like,
I agree.
I feel good about what I did today.
And look, I'm not. It's been, we've treated employees like shit for years, and it's just been the nature of the business. Okay, it's what we do. We need you here. You got to be here. I hired you. You're now my slave. Okay, that's the way that the mentality was. Okay, it changed, and it should have changed. It should have changed a long time ago. I have great staff. I have a great front of house staff that really loves what they do, and they feel my vision for what I'm trying to get out to my guests. And that's really important. My kitchen is right at my front door. As soon as you walk in, if I'm there, I'm the first face that you see. No matter how busy I am, no matter what it is, I'm saying to you, hey, thanks so much for coming in. Any questions about the menu, just walk up and ask me. Come right up to the kitchen and talk to me and ask me. We'll have a conversation about it. I walk the floor every 30 minutes. And I walk through and just check on people. I talk to people when they're getting their cars. I tell you to take a picture of your food when it gets home and send it to me. Here's my phone number. Because I want to know what my stuff looks like after it's traveled in a car. So I try to work with my guests as much as possible, and my staff sees that. My staff feels that. The other thing that we do is we do comment cards, because if I ask you how your chicken sandwich was, you're going to be like, oh my God, it was so good. Thank you so much. That was delicious. Meanwhile, that shit was burnt. It was under-seasoned. But if I put it on a piece of paper, you can then write that down, because I don't want your phone number. I don't want your anniversary date. I don't want to know when your birthday is. I want your honest feedback, which happens anonymously. So then at the end of the night, I take all those comment cards that are by the front door, and I look through, and I go, John, we had 3 orders of chicken wings or chicken drumsticks that somebody thought they were undercooked. We should take a look at the drumsticks. So I take all that information, and I share it with my staff. I share my numbers, I share my goals, I share what I have, and I share creativity. I want to know what your thoughts are. Talk to me every day when we do it.
So, Chef, we had a question written into us a couple episodes ago. We talked about it, and I believe the person said it was Employee Appreciation Week or month or day or whatever, and what could they do to appreciate their staff. And a few of the things that were brought up was someone was like, hey, I pay you. That's my appreciation. Karl, that was you.
No, that's a little iffy.
But to me, I was also, it shouldn't be a day. To me, it was like Valentine's Day.
I agree.
But how would you show that extra appreciation to your staff?
I don't feel that I have to show any extra appreciation to my staff, because I'm super appreciative. I thank you for being there every single day. When I went to culinary school, and I graduated in 1994, and I worked for Jean-Marie Lacroix at the Four Seasons Hotel in Philadelphia. And every single day, Jean-Marie Lacroix walked in this beautifully crisp white jacket, and he walked through the entire kitchen and shook every person's hand and said, thank you so much for being here. And at the end of the day, we all said, Chef, thanks so much, appreciate it. One day, I ran out of the restaurant. I had to leave. My ride was outside. I just dropped 20 pounds of chicken salad on the Four Seasons floor. I wanted to get the hell out of there as fast as possible. I wasn't happy about it. So I left. I ran out the back door, where it was the way you left. Just not like I went hiding and ran out. I left out the back door. And the next day I came into work, and Jean-Marie Lacroix was there before I was, and he walked up to me as I clocked in and said, was everything okay yesterday? And I said, yes, chef, everything was amazing. Why? And he said, because you left without saying goodbye. He came in early that morning to let me know, to see if there was anything wrong. And I took that to heart for a long time. And the way that I talk about my career, however long it's been, I always have my first 10 and my last 10. My first 10 is never going to change. I was an asshole. I was rude. I was not a happy person. It was my way or the highway. It was that simple. That was my mantra the entire time. And then I started to realize that I wasn't getting as much out of people that I needed or that they wanted to give. And the reason why is because I kept telling them what to do. I wasn't allowing that freedom to start coming through. So in my last 10 years, which evolves every single day, I learned more about people over the last 3 days in that booth back there than I have in the last couple of years. Because now my mind is open. I've completely opened my mind up to listening to people's ideas, and it's a much more enjoyable place to work. My staff is, they can't wait for me to get back. When was the last time you couldn't wait for your boss to get back into a restaurant? Like my cook texted me yesterday and he's like, I miss you.
I got a text from Karl.
And I thought to myself, oh shit, he's gonna be depressed when I get back. He's gonna need 3 days. What are we gonna do here? So I don't feel that they deserve a special day. And I don't mean that in anything. I think that is something that should happen from the outside. I think that if you guys want to throw a special day for hospitality employees, awesome. But stop by my place and see my staff and how happy they are and just the way that we treat them. I realize the energy shift inside of the restaurant. So when I have a weird energy shift, y'all can laugh at me all you want, but I pull everybody into the kitchen and we learn 4-part breathing. And then we do a little bit of stretching that turns into yoga that releases all the nasty shit that's going on, and do that in your kitchen for 5 seconds or 5 minutes, and it changes the whole mentality of what's going on. My staff is in a freer, clearer space, ready to cook and ready to rock and roll. There are days after I know they've had really, really hard nights that I'll go into the restaurant the next morning and just restock the stations. Just fill their stations up. So when they walk in and they lift that lid off the top of caramelized onions that are there, it's no longer down to here, it's now filled up, it's ready to go. Because that way my staff is ready and set, and it makes me feel happy knowing that they enjoy coming to work. That's a really long answer.
We almost, every answer so far has been really long, I'll be honest with you.
You invited an Irish Catholic Italian Philly guy up on stage.
But we do almost the same thing, because I hand a pledger to the cook and he's in there pledging and banging over, and this guy's fixing the dishwasher, and this guy's,
the way it should be.
Hey,
there
yoga's
you go.
yoga, you know what I mean? Might as well
Absolutely.
get something done out of it.
I missed a flight a couple weeks ago because my sink sprung a leak. And I'm literally standing there like, my Uber's at the front door, my suitcase is at the front door, and I'm in the kitchen with a sink that's now spewing water out of it. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna leave? Just leave them there to figure it out? No, I had to cancel my flight, make a new flight, and do all that stuff. We gotta take care of our staff. They're the ones who have you're trying to get your vision. When you get into this bar industry or restaurant industry, it's not because you want to change the world. It's because you kind of want an homage to yourself. You want an homage to something that you believe in. That's why you're creating this space. Okay, we have to get our staff to understand what it is that we believe in so they see the vision. I call it the roadmap to success. If I'm having a party at my house on Thursday night and I'm like, you guys are coming to my house Thursday night, huge bash, can't wait to see you guys. I will see you guys Thursday night. That's it. Then I walk out of the restaurant. Thursday afternoon, everybody's walking around like, you going to the party? Who's going to the party? Wait, he never told me the address to the party. The roadmap to success just failed. So instead of me telling you that I want you to wipe off every table and just leaving it at that, I'm saying I need you to wipe off all the tables, corner to corner, into a bus pan or whatever it is into your hand, so that I don't get crumbs on the floor. Okay? So I don't have crazy streaks and big circles going all over the tables. That's the reason why I do it. So I spend a lot of time explaining to my staff why I want things done so that they understand my vision for what I want to succeed as I move forward.
So, Chef, I've worked in a bunch of different industries, and I've always heard kind of like, if you can get the onus from the employee to buy and explain why. Not
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, to drink the Kool-Aid. How do you get employees that don't want to drink the Kool-Aid to drink the Kool-Aid, or they just...
I was leaving the restaurant for 10 days. 10 days I was getting ready to walk out. I had to leave. I had my staff set in place. We were ready to rock and roll. I hired this guy, he was 48 years old, he's been in the industry for 20 years. Really excited to bring him in. Ex-military, I'm a huge military fan. I was really excited for this guy, his name was Kip. stoked for Kip to come in. I paid him an extra $1 an hour because I really liked talking to him. He had great passion. He was so excited about it. Then we went through the whole process. He hung out with me. Before he left, he turned around and said, Chef, thank you so much for spending time with me. I'm so excited that you're going to give me this opportunity. And then he never showed up for work the next day.
Yep.
So this is 10 days. This is before I'm leaving for the restaurant. So while that happens, I have another one of my cooks who I've given a couple of opportunities to. He lives up the street. He's there. What do they say? 60% of the time he's there 100%. Okay? Or whatever it is. But he was there, but he like every 2 weeks we would have an issue. And this one Saturday night, I gave him his pay early. It was the end of the month. We do a tip split between my cooks and my kitchen staff, or my front of house. Front of house tips out 20% to the kitchen. At the end of every month, that kitchen staff then gets $300, $400, $500. Okay? I split up all that money amongst the cooks throughout that month. I gave this guy his money the night before that Sunday because he knew that I was going skiing in Vermont the next morning. Randomly, I made a decision not to take off that day. And I went into the restaurant and there was no Rob. Rob did not show up for work that day. Rob is a cancer in my business. Rob causes drama where there's no need for drama to be. I fired Rob and left myself with one cook for the next 10 days. You have to get rid of them. Get rid of the cancers. What am I going to do? Leave a guy in there so that I feel comfortable while I'm not in the restaurant? I have to explain to my staff why Rob still has a job after he hasn't shown up for 3 times? Sometimes you just got to cut the cord, man.
And all the other employees have to pick it up, but they don't mind because you got rid of the cancer.
Well, I mean, in this case, I adapted.
Right.
I fully adapted. I hired a 17-year-old kid who's 6'7", 350 pounds. Just so you guys know, my prep area has a 6-foot ceiling. I feel so bad for Nick every single day. I went to buy him gloves. The gloves didn't fit his massive hands. Okay, like I'm doing everything in my power to make this kid feel comfortable, but he's learning stuff every day, and he spent 2 days working with me, and before I left, I said, here's my phone number. Whatever you need, I want you to call me and ask me. And he said, I feel comfortable with John. You don't have to worry about that. It was that simple. Like, we already created that rapport between him and my sous chef, and I have not heard from Nick the entire time. He didn't call me to tell me the other day that he was going to be 5 minutes late, and he was 5 minutes late. And that's because he had a meeting at school. Like, I create a great rapport with these staff, and sometimes you just got to get rid of people and you suck it up for the team. So, yeah.
So Chef, we also do get some writing questions. Could we bring in some questions? So this one is from Becky. We are in Ohio and have a disabled worker that dishes Tuesday through Fridays.
Hold on, back up. I got distracted.
Sure.
People waving.
Sorry. We are in Ohio and have a disabled worker that dishes Tuesday through Fridays. She's requested off for almost 3 weeks in April. Can we deny that length of time? We are already struggling to fill the shifts.
I mean, you have to let them know that you are hiring for a job. And unfortunately, we can't fill every single request off, no matter how long it is. Now, the other thing is, what's the kid, 17 years old, 18 years old? They're going on vacation with their family? Like, there's certain stuff that...
Well, the interesting thing I saw, they said they were a disabled employee. I feel like if you need 3 weeks off for surgery or something in regards to... You make two. You figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, you got to work around situations. But if somebody's... like, I'll tell you right off the bat, my daughter was she wouldn't work for anybody else. She always wanted people to cover her shifts. But no, she wouldn't cover anybody else's shift. So I cut her down to 1 day a week. This is my daughter. My 18-year-old daughter was furious. She was ready to quit. She wasn't going to talk to me. I don't want you at my graduation. Yeah, I'm free May 9th, by the way, if anybody needs anything. I'm not going to her graduation. But what it came down to is I said, Fee, I need a team player that works with us. And not only that, but you're my daughter. Like, you should have more respect for the business and the people that you work with because it's your sister, because of the fact that it's your best friend, because it's another human being that you're working with. You need to, it's a give and take in this situation. And we had a long talk about it. And she called me last week and she said, you're right, Dad. And I apologize. Can you put me back on the schedule? And I put her back on the schedule today. She called me, sent me pictures of everything. Everything's done. Everything's clear. Ready, rock and roll. I'm picking up for Emmy's Thursday shift. Like, there's just that moment of communication where you have to just say to people, this is your job. And people are reliant on you, and you've got to be there for them just like they're there for you.
Now, I do have a question. Opening up a second place.
Okay.
But my first place is just it's a pub. I don't have a chef. I have a kitchen manager that does very, very well. And I have somebody that manages at night who actually runs the food, who manages the kitchen, making sure everything's coming out perfect. It's not a high volume place. The second place I'm opening is a little more high volume. I wanted to go a little upscale more on the food. It'll be a pub menu, but a little more upscale on the entrees. So I put an ad out there for a chef. And it seems that there's no real definition of what a chef is. What is a chef?
Chef is is basically the head of the brigade. That's what the term chef means. It was something that was put into place by Escoffier hundreds of years ago. He's the guy who determined what the hierarchy of a kitchen was. He's the guy who developed the standardized recipe. He's the guy who designed the way the kitchen works in regards to executive chef, sous chef, chef de cuisine, chef de partie, all that, garde-manger, the way that it all works out. He's that guy who put it all together. The term chef means the head of the brigade, okay? So, where have we gone wrong? Well, we created a really cool place called Food Network that now every single motherfucker in the entire world is a chef. Okay, you will not believe I hire for executive chefs. When I put executive chef in there, I lay out what I require. I want to know what your financial background is in regards to restaurants. So my first question that I ask an executive chef in the interview is, what kind of volume did you do in your last place? Well, you want to know the number one, I know you already know because we're sitting up here talking about it. The number one answer that I get is, the owner never shared that information with me. And then my entire process changes. My whole interview process changes. I'm no longer interviewing an executive chef. I'm now interviewing a cook who's applying for a job, even though his last 5 jobs said executive chef. Because then I go into the financial end of it. Executive creates a financial background. That's what the executive chef does. The chef is the person who oversees the food. That's your kitchen manager. That's a chef, but you give that person that title, now they want more money.
That's correct.
That's the direction of the way that goes.
And then they want to sous vide everything, and they want to cut their own bacon, and they want to do...
Yes, exactly.
I just want to serve quality food to my quality customers.
And that's where we have another kind of disconnect when it comes to hiring employees. When I hire employees, I want people to understand that I have a vision for what I want. I need you to execute that vision. So if you're hiring a chef and they're not coming through with the dishes that you want to see, then you need to get rid of that chef. Okay? Because when I come to you and say, hey man, I just got back from California or from where am I? Where the hell am I? I'm in Las Vegas.
Vegas, we're in Vegas.
My bad. I've flown 65,000 miles since January 1st, okay? It's March 23rd. Put those miles in there for you. The big thing that I do when I talk to guys like that is I have to let them know when I hire chefs for other properties is like, look, he's got an idea of what he wants for his menu. You need to accommodate him. Once you can accommodate the owner for what they want to see, then you can start to get creative with other foods. When I bring a new chef in, you're not changing my menu on day one. You need to look over the operation and see where the problems are. The reason why I don't have a chef is either they got fired or they quit. So I need to fix those things right off the bat. So anytime I hire a new chef and I bring them in, I always let them know, I don't want any menu changes for 30 days. 30 days. I want you to get into the restaurant, establish who you are and what it is that you're going to do, and then I want you to follow that up with organization. Okay? I use a prep list. We do a prep list every day at the end of every single shift. My sous chefs send me prep lists for whatever restaurants I'm involved in so that I can look and see what's going on for the next day. What are we going through? Do I need to adjust a recipe from a 1-gallon batch to a 2-gallon batch because I go through it every day? That's what I look at prep lists for. When I see black pepper ranch on a prep list that has to be made every single 2 days, then I'm going to change that recipe to be a 3-gallon batch because then I only have to make it once a week. So I'm not overloading prep things. So I talk with chefs about all of that stuff. But if you have a restaurant and you have a chef who's not, or even a kitchen manager who is not appeasing you in regards to the way that you want things done or what you want to see on a menu, then you need to change the chef or set down what the guidelines are, what my expectations are. Because I have expectations for every single employee. And if you don't inspect what you expect, it's the greatest corporate cliche that's out there, then you're just barking rules at people.
So chef, if you have someone that shows up for an interview and they say they're an executive chef and you ask about the financials and they say the owner didn't share that with me, is that a failure of the executive chef to inquire, or is that a failure of the owner to share that information, or
It's
somewhere?
a failure on both parts of it.
Yeah.
It's a failure on both parts. Okay, I'm an executive chef. I will look at your menu, I will ask you what your food sales are, I will automatically know what your inventory should be, what your purchases are for a week, how much your labor should be. I can walk into your walk-in and tell you where your food cost problem is within 2 to 3 minutes. I can look at a trash can and tell you the same thing. Okay, that's what an executive chef does. All right, and that's what I do. My consulting business, all the clients that I monitor, where I just look at your food cost every week. You send me your inventory, I look through it, I look at certain things, why it was done one way, why it wasn't done another way, what your utilization is gonna be. Then when we hop on a phone, I say to you, what's the plan now? What are you gonna do with the extra 40 pounds of chicken you have? What's your plan for the week? Well, I was going to do this, this, this. You know, I'm the type of guy who looks at that stuff. So when I'm hiring an executive chef, that's what I'm looking for. If I'm hiring a chef, I just wanna know that you can cook. I'll teach you the organizational, I'll teach you the educational, and I'll teach you the finance. And if you are a chef, or you're working in a restaurant where you work with a chef, and the chef is not sharing that information with you, then you need to leave that chef. Don't work with somebody that you're not gonna learn from. That's how we're building this entire career. The reason why we have so many chefs and executive chefs is because of the fact that our chefs are not teaching them. So they're automatically taking on a title, and then owners are just giving them that title, even though they don't deserve that title. Okay, just because you run a kitchen does not make you a chef. In technical terms, it does, but there's a lot that goes with that. Okay, does that make sense at all, in any way?
For sure.
Okay.
We do have another write-in question. This one's from Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
This one's interesting. It says, how do others handle prepaid takeout orders that aren't picked up? I'm back and forth. On one hand, things happen. I get it. But on the other, we've used the product, packaging. Do you do refunds or not? I would
Is
assume.
it a prepaid order?
It is a prepaid order. I would assume you don't do the refund.
You prepaid me. I pre-made that food. You chose to not pick it up. It's not my fault.
You bought snacks for
fault.
everybody else in the building. That's it.
That's right.
What do you want me to do? Well, I'm sorry. You fell asleep. I just put $60 worth of food in the bag.
Yep.
Paper goods cost me 24% right now. Nothing I can do for you. What are you gonna do? Write a bad review? Oh no. And I'm gonna tell the truth after you write that bad review? Oh shit.
So you actually address reviews?
I absolutely address reviews. If you put 1 star up there, I let them know that you're just you're vague and useless. You're vague and useless. Literally, get a set of cojones, man. Tell me what the problem was. Tell me what the problem was so that I can fix it. Don't just be angry. Don't just write 1 star review and walk away from it. I review every review that I get. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing the information that you shared with me. I really do appreciate the feedback that you've given us. I will look into those problems. When you were in here, I remember meeting you and shaking your hand and asking you if there were any problems while you were in here, and you said no. Oddly enough, now we're on Yelp with a 3-star review. Isn't that weird? Bob and Joan, who shook my hands.
Now where we're from, we've seen that go very badly in like closed restaurants. Do you feel there's a point where you stop addressing it?
No, who's closing a restaurant because of a review?
It did happen to a place then.
There's
Well, that was a little
wait, that was a little different. That was a little different. All right.
That was a little different. That wasn't me.
It was a while ago.
Look,
It was not Karl.
where do you guys live?
Plymouth.
You're in Plymouth, Mass.
Yep.
Correct.
You guys want to follow somebody who literally follows against that across the board? Follow a woman named Jen Royal. Jen Royal owns a restaurant in the North End called Table. Jen Royal doesn't give 2 shits who you are. She doesn't care if you come into her restaurant or not because her food is unbelievable. And the greatest review that I've ever seen was the guy who said, I was in there Saturday night and your chicken parm sucked. It was the worst chicken parm I've ever had. And she replied back and said, I know who you are. We took a picture together. It's now on my wall. Don't ever come to my restaurant again. I didn't serve chicken parm on Saturday night. And she used a lot more colorful words than I just did. Follow her on Twitter. You get a whole different world of the world of Jen Royal. But I will say, and I opened her restaurant, I had a show on Food Network called Opening Night. And her and I butted heads the entire process about what it was. And she ended up becoming very, very successful. She's now got 4 restaurants in the North End, the whole 9 yards. And she tells it like it is. People are afraid. People sit behind a keyboard because they're afraid to say it to you to your face. And then when you go back at them, 90% of the time they're not going to reply back to you. It's just that simple. But I'm not going to allow you to bash my business after I met you, after I gave you every single opportunity to to say, because I walk around, we're new, man. I want you to tell me if there's something wrong. Was the Cuban sandwich too spicy? Tell me that. I want to know, is it too salty? Because I sprinkle Maldon sea salt that's $32 a pound over top of it before I serve it to you. No, everything was great, but then you're going to tell me it's salty on Yelp? I'll call you out on it in a matter of seconds. I have no problem with it. Because we've gotten past this. If any of you are paying for Yelp, you're wasting your money. You're wasting your money. I have 5 reviews, 5-star reviews on Yelp right now that will not be shown because they think they're employees of the restaurant. 5 reviews that are glowing, that will never show up on my page because they feel that they're employees of my restaurant. They determine what you see. Realize that. All of these sources determine what you see. Don't even get me started on deliveries. 33.9% is what you pay, plus 30 cents a transaction. Do you realize that? When you guys are using delivery services as a restaurant, if you're not renegotiating that fact, you're paying 33.9% plus 30 cents per transaction to use an Uber Eats, a Grubhub, a DoorDash, any of that stuff. Your food cost is supposed to be 30%. Add 33.9 on top of that. You're now at 63.9%.
And then when the delivery driver is bad.
And then when the delivery driver is bad, who gets shit on? Get rid of your delivery services. It's not worth it. Unless you're doing brands, thousands of dollars a week in it, get rid of them. It's not worth it for you. The other thing I do with delivery services, when I did use them, I upped my prices by $3 each item. $3, all my sides, $5 in the restaurant, $8 for Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash. I upped my prices across the board because you're gonna rate me for my product and my concept and my business that I pay for, it's not gonna happen. And I only use them for the first 2 months of opening restaurants because they're free for the first 2 months. After those 2 months, you should already have established yourself, you don't need them anymore. Boom, boom. ...
So Chef,
Well, hold on. So I've got a question.
Yeah. By the way, these are strictly my opinions in a professional manner.
You go out, you fly 64,000 million miles, right? You're going everywhere. You are a celebrity chef. You're very recognizable.
It's because of this.
People, yeah, I was going to mention that earlier, man. Wow.
No, I've been working hard on it.
I was wondering why the tables on YouTube
gluten,
came up to your
strictly
chest.
gluten. I only eat gluten.
But what do you do? What do you do when you want to relax? So I'll give you what I do. Downtown Plymouth has many bars, many restaurants.
Right.
I go into maybe the one that I think might be the slowest, and I go in and get a Guinness.
Yeah.
And I relax and I sit in the corner and hope nobody comes in that sees me.
Yeah.
You can't do that, I don't think.
Well,
What do you do? What do you do after you just want to go relax and have a beer somewhere and not talk to anybody? What do you do?
So last Monday, before I left for a couple of days, I hopped in my car. I drove 3 hours to a little burger spot that I heard about. And when I got out there, I had the hamburger, and then I rented a hotel room. And I went into that hotel room and rented it for 6 hours while I sat in there with my ringer turned off, and I got more goddamn work done than I have anywhere else. So for me, my idea of getting away and relaxing is honestly either during the winter, I ski as much as possible. I ride a Harley, at least I used to before somebody wanted to hit me last summer. Actually, Tori, my friend right here, Tori and I rode through Washington State, 1,500 miles together 3 years ago, for one of the greatest 5 days of relaxation there ever was. Going out to eat is not relaxing for me.
No.
It's typically not enjoyable for me, and the only reason why is because, I'll be honest with you, most of you guys are just half-assing it. You're all buying from the same places. You're all serving the same goddamn food. Like, step up. Do something different. Why are we all serving the same chicken wing the same way? Why are we all serving the same hamburger from the same purveyor, on the same bread? Do something different. I walk into any sports bar and it's the same shit over and over and over again. It's the same shitty nacho. Do something different. We have an opportunity. We're more accessible to food now than we ever have been in our lives. The opportunities are out there. Stop buying pre-made crap. Do something different with it. Stop serving the same grilled chicken sandwich with Monterey Jack cheese and bacon on a brioche roll with crappy lettuce and an underripe tomato. That's what I do. I do things differently. I don't want to serve the same stuff. It's not fun for me. I don't want to be, everybody says, oh, this is almost as good as. Well, I'm going to change that then. because I want it to be better no matter what. I don't want to do the same stuff. We have an opportunity right now to make massive, massive changes. We just had a 2-year reset. I changed my entire to-go program. Now I make money off of to-go, even though my paper goods are 24%, and I want to shoot the guy every time he drops off a delivery, if he shows up.
Yeah.
Chef, I gotta say, your idea of relaxing is getting a hotel room and working for 6 hours. You might got.
Oh, it's the greatest thing ever. That and the fact that marijuana is as legal as it is the greatest thing going on in the world.
So this is the part of the podcast that we call Last Call. We go around the table. There's no table. And you can shout out whatever it is you want. So
Sure.
I'm gonna say last call, and I'm gonna throw it to Dan over here because he's been.
Dan, I don't know if your mic works.
I know.
I mean, what the hell's going on over there?
First
You're
of all,
never this quiet.
my last call will explain why I've said nothing, because I'm going to take a victory lap that I preached that daylight savings is stupid. And Congress made a bill to make it illegal, so that's not me. They listened to me finally. So
It's about time, brother.
Exactly.
Thanks for offering that up.
You're welcome.
Who was it? You and Roosevelt?
I think
Roosevelt
so.
started that shit.
He got the idea from me, But no, thank you, Chef Duffy. Appreciate it. I learned
pleasure,
a lot.
brother.
So I'm going to take this moment to shout out our YouTube channel. So we have a YouTube show called BarTalk Day Drinking, where we have 3 pairs of people trying 4 different cocktails. And the latest episode went up like 2 hours ago, and it's all Vegas-themed drinks, and we have a few up there. Relatively new, so we're still kind of working on it, but you should check it out. Karl, Heine, what do you got?
You know, I'm gonna push this place. I don't know whose idea this was or what becomes of this place, but I have never been touched by so many people in one little alleyway. It was awesome.
It's good. Free feels.
Yeah, I mean, I complained about it, but I went
I
home
like it.
smiling.
You gotta do that. You should just grab my ass.
I'm going over to that one again.
I'm going to shout out a couple things. One, follow me on Instagram. You can tell I kind of don't hold much back, so live that life with me. It's definitely a good time. You follow my last restaurant that I just opened called Sidebird Eats. It's Sidebird Kitchen. The original name of it was Side Piece. I was asked not to do that by my daughter and my girlfriend, but all my sides are still called side pieces, just so you know. And then I have a new company that just launched a couple months ago. It's called World Chef. You can go over there. We are creating the world's first shoppable celebrity chef marketplace where you can actually watch and you can eat what you're watching on TV. I have a Philly lobster roll coming out in a month or so that you can go and check it out. Check out myworldchef.com. It's a $4.99 subscription. If you buy your first box, which the next box coming out, it's from an unbelievable chef named Brooke Williamson, who is creating a braised short rib with a carrot risotto with a lemon gremolata over top of it. You get to cook along with her. The box gets directly shipped to your house. You buy the box, you get a free subscription. That's my pitch. That's what I got. Listen to World Chef because we also have an entire platform that is all about education. Okay, my first video that I did with this, even though I own it, it's me and my brothers, was all about the 7 different parts to a knife and how to hold a knife. Because I watch people hack away at things every single day because we've never been taught the proper way to hold a knife. Okay, so that's kind of what it is. So check out World Chef, have some fun. Follow me on Instagram and shoot me a message. Send me pics of your food. I'll review them, just like I do if you review me.
Outstanding. We've been the BarTalk podcast. This show goes up twice a month. You can find us on all the places where you find podcasts. You can find us on all the social medias at BarTalkcast. You can email your questions to @bartalkcast@gmail.com. We usually talk a lot more. But Chef Brian Duffy, this is an absolute honor. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you
pleasure.
to the 2022 Bar and Restaurant Expo for letting us do this. And thank you guys for sitting here and listening. This is awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Great. Cheers, everybody. You got it, brother. Take care of yourself, man. Can I get a picture?
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/inebriart to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at inebriart.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at inebriart or at inebriart6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, BarTalk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebriart, and all the other shows on the Inebriart Network, which you can find at inebriart.com. Thanks again for listening.